Hello children, in this video we will be doing lists in Python. As all of you know, Python is a very powerful tool as it gives us various ways not only to store the data but also to manage the data very conveniently. And one of the very simple data structures in Python is lists, where we can store the data in a particular series. In class 11th, you must have all studied about variables. So children, what do you mean by a variable? A variable is a named location. A variable is a named memory location where a constant value can be stored. So suppose I take a variable A and I try to put the value 40 in it now. So for that I have written A is equal to 10, A is equal to 40. Now if I want to see what is stored in A, I just type A and I hit the enter key. Now what it is showing children, it is showing the value 40. Now next step what I will do, I will write A is equal to 90. I press the enter key. Again I want to see what is the value in A. So what I find, the value which is displayed is 90. So children, what we are seeing here now, in this particular case, a variable is showing the last value which was stored in it. So it is erasing, or I can say it is overwriting the contents whatever was already present in that memory location. So at a time, this variable A can store only a single value. What if children, if I want to store multiple values in a particular variable? In C++, C or in Java there is a concept called as arrays, which can store multiple values. Now arrays concept is also there in Python, but the way it is used is slightly different. So for storing multiple values in Python we can use lists. So list is what? It is a data structure, I can say, or a data storage structure which can store multiple values in a particular series. So I will now show you how to declare and define a list. So children, whatever name you want you can give for the list. I have given the name an L1. After giving the name, put an equal to sign, and for list we use square brackets. For dictionaries we use curly braces. For tuples we use round brackets. So I have used here the square bracket, and whatever values you want to enter, you just write those values separated by commas. Now children, I have entered the values 10, 40, 51, 62 and 72. Then I press the enter key. If I want to see what is there in the list, now I just write the name of the list and press the enter key. So children, you can see the values 10, 40, 51, 62 and 72 are displayed. So now every element in a list can be accessed, or we need to access the elements for various purposes. So how to access the individual element of a list? In a list we are using the concept of indexing. That means every element in a list is having a particular index. So the first element in the list, that is, if you see the first element here is 10. So index of that element is 0. Index starts from 0 in lists. Same if we talk about arrays in C, C++, Java, indexing always begins from 0. So the first item will have the index 0, the second will have 1, the third will have 2 and so on. Okay, so if you see children, there are 5 elements. Since we are starting with 0, the last element 72 will have an index 4. which is 1 less than the length of the list. Now suppose I want to see what is the length of the list. So I write len, and in that I put the round brackets since it is a function. I write the name of the list, close the bracket and press the enter key. So what it is giving, if you can see it, it is giving the number 5. So length of the array is 5. Now children, if I want to access the individual elements, I have to access it with the help of the index number. So if I want to see what is there in the 0th position, so how do I write it? I have to write L1, then in the square brackets I put the index 0, I close the bracket, I just press the enter key. So what you can see there, the element 10. So 10 is the first element having 0th index in the list. Now suppose I write L1, and then in the index I put the index number 2. I close the square brackets, press the enter key. So children, you can see it is giving 51. 51 means what? It is the third element having index 2. Again I am repeating, the index starts from 0 and it goes till 1 less than the length of the list. Is it clear children? So if I want to access 72, what should I write? I will write L1. I put the square brackets again. I write 4. And press the enter key. So we get 72 here children. Is it clear? Okay children. So I'll just revise the points which we have discussed. So list is what? List is an data storage element where we can store data items or the elements in a data series. In a series we can say it is always the items or the elements are written within square brackets separated by commas. Len function returns the total number of elements present in the list. The counting or the indexing starts from 0. And the last number in the list or the last element in the list will have the index which is 1 less than the length of the list. Now the next important point what we have to consider is lists are mutable. That is, we can change the contents of the list. What is the meaning of that? Means if required, we can modify the contents of the list. Like suppose there are only 5 elements in the list. Now I want to add the 6th element. So for that we have a method called as append L1 dot append, and within the brackets I give, okay, just a minute, L1 dot append, and in the brackets I am giving some value, suppose 56. So this value 56 will be added at the end of the list. Now suppose you want to check that, I just write L1. So you can see children now 10, 40, 51, 62, 72 and 56 is the last item. So append means what? Adding at the end. There are various methods and functions which are present in list which helps us to modify the content of the list. So append is one of them. So append means adding at the end. Now children, suppose I want to modify every element in the list. Like suppose I want to add 5 to every element in the list. So I'll show you a simple program can be written for that. I'll write a simple program children. For this I'm opening a new file. I'll write for I in. All of you know how to work with the for loops. We have already discussed it. Now how many elements are there in the list? Earlier there were 5 elements. Now there are 6 elements. So I'll write inside the bracket 6. Okay children, so I will start from 0, and since I have mentioned range of 6, so the loop will iterate till I position 5, that is from 0 to 5. So 0 to 5 means 6 elements. Now what we have to do is, I wanted to increment 5 to each value of the list. So for that I am writing L1 of I is equal to L1 of I plus 5. Okay. Now I'll just save this. Any name you can give. Suppose I give P1. All the Python files are saved with the extension .py. Okay, now I'll just run this. I click on run module. So an error is popping up. L1, okay, I have not defined L1 in that, so I'll just open that once. P1 was a file. Here, before defining, because I have opened a separate file, so I have to declare the list 1 there. So L1 is equal to, or I will name it as L2. L2 is equal to, I give any name, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I have given now 15. Okay, there is no problem if we are repeating the elements. So I am repeating the elements here. 12, 13, 14, 15, 15. I'll add one more because I have given the range as 6. I just close the bracket, and here wherever I have written L1, I just change it to L2, though it doesn't make any difference whether it is L1 and L2. But since there I was taking it as L1, I have made this L2. Okay, now again I have to do one thing. I have to save it. Okay children, then I run this. Okay children, there is some problem with this. Again I'll restart it. Restart Python. So again just I open Python. I open the file and I'll try to run that. So what is the file name I had given? P1. Okay children, so I try to run this. So children, what we have done in this, we have just entered some values and I have executed one for loop in which I is what? I is in range 6, because I have just told you there are 6 elements in the list. So I will start from 0. So when I is 0, L2 of 0, that is the first element in the array, in the list, that is 12, will be incremented by 5. After that again I value will be incremented, I will become 1. L2 of 1, that is L2 of 1 is what? 13. 13 will be incremented by 5 and so on. So till where it will go? It will reach till I value of 5. So if now I want to print this particular list, I write print, in brackets I am writing print L2, because the name of my list is L2, and I just close the brackets. Now you can see children, each element 12 has become 17, 13 has become 18, 14 has become 19, 15, 20, they have become 20, and 16 has incremented to 21. So what has happened in this program, every element of the list has changed by or I can say it has been incremented by the value of 5. So this is also one example showing that lists can be modified, that is lists are mutable objects. Okay, now children, suppose now we can solve a question. This type of questions can come in the exam. What we have to do is we have to take a list of numbers, and in that we define some numbers like I have done in this. We have defined some numbers in this. Now what our program should do, it should take one more list, and in that list it has to pick up only the even numbers from the existing list. So list, suppose L1 is there or A is there or B is there, whatever is your list name. It is having few elements, suppose 10 elements, 5 elements, whatever elements you have entered into that. Now there will be one more list B. It should have only the even numbers which are present in the previous list. So for that children, we will write a program. Okay, so I'll explain you the program, how to do it. So suppose I say L1 list is already, L2 list is already with us. Now what I can do is I will declare a empty list, suppose L3. Okay, I just write L3 and I had given empty square brackets. So before this you have to put an equal to sign. So this means what? Your third list is an empty, L3 list is an empty list. Now we'll write one program for this. Suppose I write again a for loop for num or any variable, suppose for n I say, in what is our list which is already there? It is L3. Okay. In this loop means it is checking for all elements in the list L3. Now what I have to do is I have to check what if the number is even, then I have to add it to the second list. Which is our second list? The second list name we have taken as L. Okay, here I have committed one mistake children. Okay, so I'll just write, I had written here L3. L3 is an empty list. We have to take it as L2. So for n in L2, if the number, that is n, if it is even. So how do we check whether the number is even or not? Yes, anyone? I know you all know about this operator. It is called a modulus operator. Modulus operator is returning the, returning the remainder. So if we divide any number by 2 and if this remainder is 0, we know it is a even number. So same thing what we are doing, if we put a division operator, it returns as the quotient. But what we are checking for children, we are checking for the remainder. If the remainder is 0 on dividing by 2, then it is a even number, and that we have to add it to the new list. So children, I will just write if n mod 2 is exactly equal to 0. Okay, so exactly equal to operator, equal to, single equal to is an assignment operator, double equal to is exactly equal to operator. It is a comparison operator basically. It is comparing the value, whether the remainder on dividing by 2, if it is 0, then what we have to do, what is our empty list name? Our name of the empty list is L3. So in this we have to add only that number which is even. So I am appending I use the method append. What I have to append? N. Okay, and then what I do is I come out of this loop. Okay, so what now I will do is I have for this loop one by one it is checking all the elements of list 2. If the element is divisible by 2, that is if the remainder is 0, if it is completely divisible by 2, I am adding it in the new list which we have created. So now we can see what is there in L3. See, we are getting 18, 20 and 20. 17, 19 and 21. These are not added in the new list which we have created because it has been appended with only even elements. I hope children the concept is clear to you how lists are useful to us. Now I am giving you an assignment question, children. This you can do it yourself. Similar concept of programming can be used. With for loops and conditions you can do this program. What you can do is you take again a list with different elements. Suppose 10 elements are there in the list, all numbers are there in the list. Now you have to take one more list, and in that list only those elements should be added which are between 40 to 100. Okay, are you getting my question? What you have to do is you have to declare a list, add some 10 elements in the list. Now your program should create one more list, and in that new list which is created it should add only the numbers which are between 40 and 100. The remaining elements which are not in this range should not be added in the new list. So children, you can do this as an assignment. Now, as I have told you earlier also, there are different functions and methods on which we can work with the list. There are different types of methods actually and functions which help us to work with the lists easily. Even for dictionaries also we have certain concept like that. Like there is a function called as len, there is a function called as max, there is a function called as min. So now I would like to tell you first, before showing you how the function and the method is working, the functions uses the lists as an argument. Means inside the function we pass the list as the parameter. Like what I had written there, len of A or len of L1. I had written L1 inside the bracket. So the list is passed as an argument to the function. But methods are operating on those objects. Since method is an object-oriented concept, with the help of methods, with the help of the objects, we will call the methods. That is the basic difference between functions and methods in Python. Okay, now I'll declare a list again and I'll show you the max, min and len function, how it works first. So already we have a list, L2 here. So let us check this only. I am writing len L2. I'm taking the screen little up so that you can easily okay children, what I want is I write len and I write the name of the list L2. So what you are seeing children, the value 6. So there were 6 elements in the list L2. Now already I have defined that list here L2. You can see now this is the list elements. Okay, now again let us see what is the maximum and minimum 21 is the maximum and 17 is the minimum. So now I write max L2. See, it is giving me 21. Min L2, this is returning 17. Okay children, so what you see here, these are the function names, and L2 everywhere I have written inside the brackets. So whatever is written inside the bracket of a function is called the parameter. So here you can see in functions the list is passed as a parameter or an argument. Is it clear children? Now I'll show you some methods also, how can we work with those methods. Now suppose I just print the list again. Print the list again. Okay, I've written a spelling mistake. Print L2. Okay, so it is showing the elements 17, 18, 15, 20, 20 and 21. Now, suppose I want to check how many times an element has been present, is present in that particular list. So, I just write, now this is a method. So, method means what we have to do, we have to call with the name of the list. So, my list name is L2 dot count. Then I pass what I want to check, how many times 20 is present in that. So I close the bracket and put an enter. So it is showing me the number 2. So 20 is present in the list. How many times? 2 times. You can check it children here. 17, 18, 19, 20 is repeated twice. Now if I write L2 dot count of, suppose I am writing 21. I press the enter key. So it is giving me 1. So children, count function will give how many times an element is present in that particular list. Now suppose already I have a list and already some elements are there. Now what I can do, I can use the insert function to add an element at the desired location. Suppose L2 dot, because object dot method we have to use. So what is the name of my function? Insert. In that, now which is the second position? This is 0, 1, 2. Now what I am giving at the second position, that is the second index position, I want to enter the element 100. I write 2, 100 and press the enter key. Now if you just write L2, or you can even write print L2, see at the second index position the number 100 has been added. Is it clear? So using insert, what we can do, at a desired index location we can add an extra element. So there are various methods which we can use in lists. So there is one more method I will show you, that is sort. L2 dot sort. All of you know what is sorting? Yes, sorting is ordering of the elements, arranging the elements in a particular order. It can be reverse order, it can be increasing order, or it can be decreasing order, or I can say it can be alphabetic order or reverse alphabetic order. Now I press the enter key. Now you just say L2. You just type L2, press the enter key. You can see children, all the elements, 100 was there in between, 17, 18, 100 was there. So 100 is added now at the last position. So this is how sorting works. So sort is again a method which will sort the elements into reverse order. Now in a increasing order by default. Now Children, again I'll show you one more thing. Let us see if it is working. L2 dot sort. In brackets I write reverse is equal to true. Let us check whether this works. Now I'll just press L2. So now you can see the array or the list has been sorted in decreasing order. So 100 is coming at the first position, it has come to the first position, and then it is in descending order. So there are various methods with which we can work with list. It helps us in many ways. Whenever we want to manipulate the list, we can use the different methods. Now, suppose I just say L2 dot reverse. Okay, and I press the enter key. Now what you can see is just I'm printing L2 again. So whatever was the order of the list, it will be reversed. Let me tell you, reverse and sort, these are totally different. Sorting is arranging. Reverse is in whatever way the elements are there in that, it is just reversed. Means the element which is having the index 0 will have now the last index, and the element which was having the last index will have its index now at 0. It's totally turned, or it is totally reversed, I can say. Now there are different methods for removing the item also. So suppose I say L2 dot remove. Now in remove, what we have to give? We have to give the argument, that is the element, the value which we want to remove, we have to directly give that. Suppose I want to remove the element 21. I write 21 in the brackets and I press enter. Now you just write L2, press the enter key, you can see 21 has been removed. So whatever values are there, we can insert, we can append, we can remove also. Plus, there is a method called as pop. Now pop is something like this. L2 dot pop, if I write, whatever is the last element in the list, that will be removed. Now I just type L2. You can see the last element was 100, it has been removed. So children, list is a very simple feature which has been used in Python, and it is very useful also. So I hope you have understood the concepts. Any doubts, you can write the queries in the comment section, and whatever program I have given you, you can write the program and send in the comment section. I can check it from there. So thank you children. Stay safe, stay at home and take care. Thank you.